to talk to you guys about my chestnut orchard here. I started planting chestnuts probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. I planted about 60. I started with nuts, and I got some trees growing. I got probably about 35 trees growing out of 60, and I've replanted several times. I've tried the nuts. Tried planting the nuts, and that doesn't work out too good here because of the squirrels and the mice and the voles, eat them before the spring. Because I usually plant them in the fall. In between the fall and the spring, something eats them. I mean, what you see here is, these are Chinese chestnut trees. Um, so, and again, I've only got probably about 30 growing, after about 10 years. So what I have learned is I'm not going to plant nuts anymore, directly into the orchard. I'm only going to plant trees, and I'm gonna try to get ching 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 seedlings and plant ching in here, because I got some, a couple Dunstans. There's a Dunstan there, and that's a Dunstan over there, and that's one over there as well. So I've got a couple of them, but I want to get I think the majority of what I have planted in here to be ching. And here's another one that's been here a couple of years. And I do a mixture. Of tree tubes and these chicken wire cages, and I use these pieces of rebar here, pound them in the ground, and then just put chicken wire on there. And I have to do that to keep the deer off of them. And it's 4 foot tall. It's not really high enough to stop the deer from eating them, but it gives them a chance to grow up out of here some. And you can see here some deer damage from this year. And the deer are pretty heavy here. I'm in south central Pennsylvania, and a lot of white-tailed deer here. Lots and lots of white-tailed deer. Here's probably one of my better trees. You can see it's got some male catkins on it. Something else I've had a lot of trouble with, you can see here, and that's Japanese beetles. I don't know if there's any beetles on here. Not many beetles on there right now, but I've had lots of trouble with Japanese beetles. I put traps out for them. That only seems to draw them in more, get more beetles in, so I stopped putting the traps out. The one thing that I have found that works well for them is a granular that you buy. You can buy it in a bag from Lowe's. I forget the name brand of it, but it's a granular. You put it down, you put it in a lawn spreader, and you put it down on the lawn, and it sinks down in the ground, and it kills all the grubs. It kills all the Japanese beetles grubs, and that worked. That's the only thing that I've tried that worked. Here's something else I got an issue with. You can see the leaves on this chestnut. I don't know if anybody knows what causes this or how to treat that. Let me know. It's just a real funky looking leaf, and it used to have, just regular Chinese leaves on it, but it's got something on there now that makes that leaf just a real strange. It's just a real strange formation of the leaf. If you guys know, leave in the comments and let me know. And I've got another tree over here that it just completely died this year. And this tree, I don't know if you can see it over there right now or not, but it's about 10 years old, and it just died. It just died off. I'll get to that one in a second. Here's another one that's probably, you know, about 6 foot tall, and it's doing okay. I don't really give these a lot of fertilizer. You can see here I have this one in some metal posts in the ground, just some barbed wire and stuff around it to try and keep deer off of it. That doesn't, it works well enough. I mean, it doesn't, if deer went in there, they'll get in there, but it's tall enough now where, you know, they shouldn't be eating the tops off of it. But there's a couple beetles on there right now. But I've had the beetles where they come in and they just decimate them. I mean, they eat holes all through every leaf that's on there. They can be very destructive. Up there's a whitetail. I don't know if I can zoom in on it. You can see a deer up there now. There's a lot of deer around here. I find the tubes work pretty well. There's you can see down in here in the tube here. You can see down in there, see that tree down in there or not, but there's one growing down in there, and that's a Ching Jenny cross. Now the seeds come from a Ching tree, but has a Jenny pollinating it. And I'm really interested to see how they do. I'm hoping they'll do well here. So here's a tree. You know, maybe somebody can understand what happened with this. We had it came out, it started, you know, growing in the spring, had a hard frost that killed everything back on it. And then it started growing again. And then, about 2 weeks ago, it just quit. It just died. But it's got a root sprout growing up in here on it. Because I was really concerned that it was Phytophthora or something like that. It's a root rot. But since it's got that sprout growing on, I don't think it is a root rot. But I don't know what would kill that tree like that. But if anybody has any thoughts on it, you know, let me know. Here's some bark, you know, the wood piece of the tree, but I don't see anything like any bug holes or anything in there that would, you know, kill that tree. I have had a couple of, you know, smaller trees come up from seed. Here's one. That one's, you know, 2 years old. It was really dry here in the month of May and the month of June. It's I think 4th of July weekend right now. But that being really dry, you know, it's just really stunted the growth of a lot of these trees. You can see I've got some cages here, don't have anything in them, as the trees either died off or the nuts haven't come back. But I've been replanting, like I said, over the last, you know, 10 years. And man, I tell you what, I've had a lot of struggles trying to get trees to grow. But I've had a few that, you know, grow okay. But yeah, there again, about 50% of them, you know, die off, and you know, keep replanting, keep trying to get them to grow. I mean, you guys, let me know if you've had any issues like this. You know, if you're trying to plant chestnuts and chestnut orchards. You know, if you had any of the same issues like I've had. I mean, I've had the mice and the voles over the winter. You know, trees that are big around as your thumb, probably 4 or 5 year old trees, about 2 or 3 inches under the ground, they just chew it off. And of course, that's, you know, that just kills the tree. I've had that happen several times. It gets a little, you know, it's a little heartbreaking, a little discouraging. But you know, you just got to replant, keep going. But the one thing I find about the tree tubes is when it is really dry outside, it keeps the sun off of the leaves of the tree, and it does help keep the trees alive. One of the downsides to these is that the birds will sit here and defecate down in the tube, and sometimes it'll burn the new growth of the tree and kind of stun its growth. I've had that happen quite a bit too. You can see here a couple of tree tubes, and again, these are Ching Jenny crosses I just planted this year, and they're doing pretty well so far. Doing really well. So if you guys would like to see anything else here with the orchard, or know any other information, let me know. I'll be glad to share any information I have, and hopefully you have some information you can share with me too, and we can help each other be successful. That's all for now.